COSM, I have some juicy news for you. Let's go ahead and go over those possibilities for the coming sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with a COSM Technicals raw price action and statistical thread of analysis on this happy Saturday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right in. Okay, you guys. So actually, I'm going to make a quick last call here for the ArcMasters trading course that I'm offering, as I will no longer continue teaching, right? Or at least for a very long while. I need to focus on my trading, right, you guys? So the course is going to be starting on actually tomorrow, Sunday, at 5 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so if you guys still want to sign up, I still have about 2 or 3 seats left available, so go ahead and find the email in the description below and get enrolled. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. But let's go ahead and dive right into COSM's chart. Okay, you guys, so we are looking at my algorithm here, the ARC reversion variant, right? So please notice that we actually used the reversion variance mean band at $3.34 perfectly, right? Actually, just over. The price action went to, let's see, 335. Okay, so we rejected right from that mean band and came right back down. So the cloud top and the cloud bottom actually represent the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so this could be this was definitely a good area for loading up right before a continuation to the upside. And in fact, that loading zone is still that very one that we've been speaking of, right? So the last time we actually came back down to this level, we also faced an explosive move, actually several times with explosive moves from that 301 to about 292 level. Okay, you guys, so it's or 291. So yeah, it looks like the price action is making a good momentum right now. And please notice that money flow index is indicating that money is actually coming in. But don't stop this video just now, because I do have a statistical back test that is of of very, very high value to us bulls. Okay, so just to put it in the lighter terms, let's go ahead and go over the daily Gaussian band. Okay, so I am noticing here that anytime that we have made a cross above the mean band from the Gaussian band, we have actually made some pretty explosive moves to the upside, right? So not every single iteration is gonna express such a ridiculous move to the upside, but you can see that we break it, we validate it, we make a strong move to the upside, right? So just like this here, another move to the upside. So while those actually, let's just take into consideration what that measurement can be, right? So for example, here we broke upside of it, we made a 37% move to the upside on that iteration. Let's see, there was where is it? Right here. There's another one right over here. So actually, damn, in continuation too, right? So this was about a 25% move to the upside. Let's see there, and there are several iterations from which that has happened, right? So even in the ones that have failed, like the one from here, right? This one actually, made a 21% move to the upside. This particular iteration here made a stronger move, a 51% move to the upside. And yeah, so you can just see that anytime that we have crossed above that mean band, we actually make some pretty volatile moves to the upside, right? So let's go ahead and revert back to the price action and show you exactly what's happening. So of course we've actually since this date here, which is about Thursday the 23rd of March, we've actually on the daily chart we've been literally resisted from that bottom side of the Gaussian channel. And this time, yes, we got rejected right at it too, but there is a difference. We may actually get the chance to break inside of this Gaussian channel for the first time in a month, right? So let's go ahead and go over that potential now. So now that this is the volatility versus momentum back test on the 8-hour chart. Okay, so this in particular is talking about any time that we have. Let me just make this a little bit bigger, right? So anytime that we have contracted into the critical contraction zone, which is beneath the 15 percentile here of the BBWP, which is representing volatility, we have made some moves to the upside when paired with stochastic momentum, right? So we would need stochastic momentum to be pivoted to the upside alongside a critical contraction zone volatility. Okay, so I have taken note of any time that condition or that criteria has met throughout the entire trading history of the COSM asset on the 8-hour chart. Okay, so now the results for that are these, and we've actually already touched down on these a couple times, but let's just go ahead and reiterate them, right? So please notice that in the 8-hour chart, 9 iterations have been seen, of which 6 were guessed correctly to the upside, right? So now that gives us an average upside accuracy of 66% with an average upside thrust of a massive 206.895% over the span of about 6.5 days, or sorry, just a little over 6 days. So, first of all, remember that this is just a mean, right? So it's anytime that condition meets, on average, we can look at this type of move over this average amount of time, right? So to get a little tighter in this, we can practice. It's just if I do this to every single ticker, it's just I'm never going to have time to cover any ticker at all, right? So if I would start to figure out the standard deviation of this, which would probably be around 180%, and then figuring the lower end of the first standard deviation and the higher end of the first standard deviation, we would jump into a potential 50% or 40% lower end to around maybe a 400 or 350% higher end move to the upside, right? So it'll give us a 66% probability that we hit at least a 40% move, just guessed, right? So I would really need to dive in and start the math on all of the iterations, right? So just to give you an idea like that, right? So statistically speaking, this is just an average move. Okay, but if we were to consider that average move to the upside, that would put the asset at about $9.29. Okay, that's just the average. So now let's go ahead and look at another metric, okay? Because usually when we have volatility versus momentum suggesting a potential upside, which by the way, that stochastic momentum has both the EMA3 and the SMA14 pivoted towards the upside, which is already a signal that the firing of the actual signal may be soon or now. Right. So another thing that validates that is actually DMI. So DMI would be the strength of bulls versus bears, and the ADX is actually in the center. Okay. So now the average directional index represents a trend or market trend. So whoever is on top, meaning that if it's green, then bulls are on top, right? And the ADX is actually above the 25 percentile. That usually gives a strong market trend towards the bulls or whoever's on top, right? So in this case, you can see that we're ascending now in that ADX, currently sitting at about 19.25% with an aggressive upside pivot here with the bulls DMI, right? So there is about 80 to 90% DMI support for this for the statistical move to play out. So this is looking very good. Another thing to kind of validate what's happening here within the contraction, volatility versus contraction test, is this, that we are building a falling wedge, right? So the falling wedges are just, it's just a formation, right? Right. But it's still, sometimes I can just use it to kind of validate even further what the probabilities are for an upside move. So usually these formations tend to realize when we're at about 60 to 65% to the apex of the triangle. And as in this case, we are definitely at about 65%. So in order for us to gain an objective for the price on this, we take a trend line from the very top side of the triangle all the way to the bottom, and we apply it to the supposed area of breakout. Let's just say that it's in the next 8-hour iteration, since we are in the 8-hour chart, right? So that target would actually take us to about $4.08, right? So now let's take a Fibonacci ratio, right, from the Friday's day high, or the swing low to the swing high of Friday, right? So let's go ahead and do that, and this is where it is right here. So from this point here, you can see that here's a dot, right at the top side of this candle, right over here. And we'll take it all the way to the bottom side of this candle, which is right there, right? Just at about 289. Okay, so let's go ahead and notice that the target being suggested, or the price objective via this formation, takes us to the 2.618 at 407. And we were just talking about 408, which is just massively perfect, right? So that it's perfect because it's the golden mean. It's a 618, right? So lots of rhyming there, lots of confluence. And actually, I haven't even seen the potentials here with the moving averages. So let me just go ahead and pop that up and see if we have anything resistance around that area. Okay, so we in fact don't have any resistance in the 8-hour chart. In fact, the resistance that we can find is just upside of the 1.618 at the SMA 100, which is located at about 370. So just about 8 cents away from that 1.618. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just up the time frames to see if we have anything of support or resistance at that 407 level. So let's look at the 12-hour and the daily, the bi-daily. Let's see if there's anything there. Well, in fact, there is. On the 12-hour, we have the SMA 100 located at about $4.18. So now that gives us a resistance range. Okay, so we can go ahead and take into consideration at 407 from the 2.618 Fibonacci ratio right here. I'm circling around it, right, all the way up to the 100-day simple moving average. Okay, so this would be a pretty substantial area of resistance. Okay, so if we were to consider going up the time frames here, and maybe even the bi-daily, let me see. Let's see what we have as resistance on the tops. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything just quite yet. And in fact, the SMA 50 is located at 806 when our target is about 940. So in a macro perspective, it's sort of rhyming there already. So let's just take a look at the weekly to see if we have anything there. The weekly getting us even closer to that 838, right? So now it's, let's see the bi-weekly, see if we have anything there. And then, of course, nothing on the monthly. All right, so yeah, it would be more along the lines of the, I would say maybe the 5-day. The 5-day would take us right. Oh, was it actually the weekly 538? 830, right? So 833 to about 935. So this would be the resistance range on the weekly, right? So actually, there's something else that I can pull up to see if I have any weekly resistance or monthly support from that area there. So I'll pull up my algorithm, the substance indicator, and see if we have anything around there. Okay, so in fact, we don't on the weekly time frame. So let me just go back in some time frames here to see if we have anything as a resistance level from the algorithm itself. But if we don't, it's entirely okay. It's just a statistical backtest. So we have to kind of take it as such, right? So I'm not seeing anything of immediate importance here on the substance indicator, other than the fact that let's see, back down into the areas that we were looking at, right? So let me go back down to the 5-day. And no, so it's entirely psychological, this target here. Okay, so it is geometrical and psychological. So now, based on popular resistances and supports, there really isn't anything for us to consider except for, of course, the 12-hour 100-day simple moving average. Okay, so that's looking not bad, you guys. So yeah, just keep an eye on this because the signals are absolutely suggesting an upside coming in, especially the volatility versus momentum backtest that we performed on that 8-hour. Okay, you guys. So this is likely to see an upside very soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis, which is going to be the RSI. So please notice here that we have a very slight pullback happening on the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame. So this is not likely to live out fast at all. Okay, so that pullback is actually very likely for us to come back to around $3.14. Yeah, I would say about $3.14 or 15 cents for reloading back, so to continue to that upside. Okay, so now, and the reason why I'm saying that it's very short-lived is because as you move on, to the upper time frames, like the 4-hour here, we're making a very bullish cross upside of the 14-day simple moving average and suggesting a continuation to that upside very aggressively, even more aggressive on the 8-hour, suggesting that cross above that 14-day simple. Please notice that we have the daily also crossing above that 14-day simple moving average, and it looks like the bi-daily is also trying to attempt that very same thing. Now, as far as the 5-day is concerned, the 5-day is still trapped inside of consolidation here. So this would be very much waiting for the influence from the shorter time frames. Okay, you guys, so we'll keep an eye on this and we'll see what's going to happen. But like I said, guys, very likely an upside coming in for COSM starting in the early week, this coming week, right? So please make sure to practice your risk management and always remember, first and foremost, that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be okay, all right, you guys? So with that said, I wish you well. I wish you a very good night. Remember that I still have the ARC Masters trading course, about 3 or 4 seats left on that. Get yourself enrolled. And I wish you very well, and I'll catch you at the bell on Monday. Okay, you guys, adios.